Remember that there are many unknowns and shift your focus from traffic chasing to intent and focus on addressing high intent queries of your potential audience. I am Ulduz Ismayilova, and this is SEO 225 Additional Insights.
Ulduz, what's your additional insight for SEO in 2025?
My insight is, with AI disrupting top funnel visibility, SEO must evolve and capture bottom funnel conversion-ready traffic.
Okay, so let's start at the top there. So how is AI disrupting top funnel visibility?
So right now, whenever someone searches for something very basic as what is SEO, for example, or even how to do something, AI already gives the answer, either if it's AI overview on the SERP, or if it's GPT, it will give you the whole answer, very comprehensive. So you no longer need to go to click the blue links and go into the website and read from the brands, and brands no longer have any opportunity to capture you in the top funnel and maybe somehow convince you through their conversion tactics on their blog article, for example, you find into a qualified lead. So right now it's way harder for brands to capture people in the very beginning of their user journey. So that's what basically I mean by AI disrupting top funnel visibility, because users are no longer clicking to get information from a website, they're clicking to buy only.
Okay, so are you saying that it's not worthwhile to SEO for top funnel phrases? Or are you saying that it's still possible to influence that behavior and use SEO to maybe influence that general market overview type inquiry to begin with on AI search engines? And it's just the fact that you can't actually measure directly from top of funnel queries to bottom of funnel? Or is it not worthwhile concentrating that at all and only worthwhile concentrating on bottom of funnel?
Yeah, I don't think it's about measuring the top funnel or it's about attribution or anything like that. Like, you don't get to control what AI will show for top funnel, because first depends on where users search. If it's GPT, it's probably going to be based on its training data, which is updated every 2 years or sometimes 6 months, which is dependent on the content type. So you can't really affect that one. And based on its data, it can give you answer without even referencing any website at all. So in the long run, I don't see any way how you would affect top funnel traffic. The AI is basically taking over and it's just going away from SEO.
Interesting. Okay, so give up for top of funnel, but perhaps double down on bottom of funnel. So if you're doubling down on that bottom of funnel, how do you identify bottom of funnel conversion ready traffic?
So it's tricky, and there are many unknowns in the age of AI. And another problem is you don't have any attribution. You don't get to see exact prompts people type. So keeping this in mind, how do you actually find these high intent bottom funnel queries to optimize for? First, what you can do is focus on exact solution that you provide. For example, if you are a data provider, if you are providing data for market data, and what you could optimize for is best market data provider of, if you are targeting local audience in UK, and then you're targeting this, and you will see that, okay, for this, there's many brands mentioned by AI, and you just need to make sure that you get to appear on top, or at least on the top 3. This is a main big picture. So you just need to make sure, okay, if there is an AI overview that's dominating the SERP and this huge snippet is like making your website very down on the search results, there needs to be a way to appear on it. So your main objective is to appear, but there are many ways to do it, depending on a brand, which we can also discuss in the follow-ups.
Okay. But you started talking about what you do as a business. So I guess optimizing around your product terms and the phraseology that someone may use in order to actually find something like that. Do you have a favorite way to actually identify the terms associated with the products that you sell?
Yes, yes, basically, most easy and straightforward way. You just need to optimize for something that describes how your product solves specific use case. Even it's better if you cannot in specific industry. So how to solve problem with my product in specific industry, then it's very bottom funnel query. Even better if you can optimize more for brand comparisons or case studies, how we actually solve the customer pain point, and you write a very comprehensive case study about how actually some other brand used my product and they were able to address their pains, and you write it down in a very clear details. Another way is to having comparison type of content, like your brand versus your main competitor, which is great because AI overviews are usually quite comprehensive. They will say, oh, there are these and these solutions, and it's usually sourcing from the comparison and listicle type of content. So this would be the type of content and queries you could target. Basically, to wrap up product comparisons, case studies, customer testimonials, even better if you can get some of your content and brand recommendation into your customer's website.
Okay, so you mentioned a few different possibilities for bottom of funnel content there. If an SEO doesn't have much time, how do they prioritize what needs to be done first?
So, as there are many unknowns, it's hard to prioritize because right now you don't know what works, what doesn't. It's just mainly assumptions. But based on that, what I would prioritize is to find these very core product related queries. Let's say for if you want to find this podcast in UK, and if you wanna attract more people to this podcast, you would need to optimize first for best SEO podcast, I don't know, in UK or in English, or best SEO podcast in specific topic. Maybe you're more focused on technical SEO. If there's any other synonym for SEO podcast, you could use that as well. Best SEO tips. So you just try to find what would user would type just before going to you and convert. So what would they search for?
And do you, but where do you go to actually find those keyword phrases? Do you just simply go on Google and use Google Suggest? Do you use a keyword tool or something else?
If you have worked with your brand long enough, you would actually know what it is by default, if you know your product well enough. If not, I don't think you need to use any other tool. I think you need to brainstorm, because for AI visibility, you need to have very tailored branded content. So you need to put some effort before to decide what is it that I want to appear for. Good way would be to actually ask your previous leads or previous people who find you, how did they actually find you? What did they search for? Did they look for best podcast on offsite SEO? Did they actually didn't look for anything, but did they saw you on some listicle article somewhere? So it's a nice way to begin with. Another way is to see what are the top queries on Search Console that you're ranking for, and which of those queries in the past, like you link it to the page that's ranking on top. Like you check what is the top query of top ranking page that converts your visitors to users. You try to find what question is this page actually answering, and you try to like reverse engineer the question, and you optimize for that.
Okay, so you're touching on the importance of obviously ensuring that the content is hyper relevant to the keyword phrase that you're targeting. What's your process for doing that? How do you try to ensure that your piece of content delivers and converts?
So yeah, for us, I am working with a very technical product. So in my case, specifically, product knowledge is very important. You need to know what is exactly people type or might possibly type, and for it, what we do usually ask people, okay, how did you find us? This is the best way, and this is not very scalable, but if you want to get something quality, you will have to do it at some point. We ask that, or another way could be, yeah, you just look at the Search Console and you check your top ranking page that's actually converting, and you start doing your keyword research based on that page. Of course, not top funnel keywords, but you try to find some long tail keywords that lead to that page. And then from there, you can turn these keywords into a prompt, or you can actually type some of these keywords on Google to see, okay, what type of websites are appearing for those, what's the intent for it. So you need to find the intent behind and to create a question for that intent tailored to your brand.
How do you ensure that you're not missing out on any opportunities? Because, as you rightly say, you should know about your business, your products, you should know keyword phrases in relation to your products, but you can't absolutely be sure that your target market isn't calling what you do something else, describing what you do and what they're looking for in a different way that you hadn't thought of beforehand. So how do you conduct research to make sure that you are actually incorporating all the phraseology that your target market is likely to use?
Yeah, it's a very big topic. So far, personally, I haven't found a solution to make sure that I captured everything exactly that people might have searched for. Again, because the more technical product is, and also if you're in B2B, it's even harder to predict how users find you. My main ways, however, is whenever I see someone quite valuable coming and converting, I usually, of course, you can check which page the person came from. And if you're lucky, they will tell you what they typed exactly. If not, you just do analysis on that page. You just check, okay, this person converted on this specific date. That specific date, what were the top queries ranking for it? What were the top queries getting click for that? And then you can just make assumptions. So there's many assumptions here. At some point, you need to take some of the assumptions based on your internal data of conversions and some information from customers and your own knowledge. And at some point, you just need to test those assumptions. So you don't really have a clear data point to start with, unfortunately.
How does this all fit into a broader content marketing strategy? Because obviously it's only part of what you need to publish. So how do you sit down on a quarterly basis, maybe to actually decide on what to do and how this also impacts and works with other activities?
Bottom funnel SEO content usually supports the final step of the sales funnel, like conversion. Right now, we are just making sure that we are, in big picture, we are not just driving traffic, but we are actually driving some business value out of it. So when you are focusing on this objective, it supports several other departments in a way that bottom funnel quality content is something that you will use to nurture your customers too. And it's something you will use in sales, maybe when negotiating, when calling with people, with the leads. So this type of content is actually solving many problems at once. And you're really focusing and giving all your resources to the funnel, like to the group of people that are actually willing to convert, like more likely to convert. So you're just shifting your resources in a more efficient way.
Ulduz, what's the key takeaway from the tip you shared today?
So a key takeaway would be first to remember that there are many unknowns and shift your focus from traffic chasing to intent and focus on addressing high intent queries of your potential audience.
And how are you sure that the intent is high?
Intent is high, meaning for it you need to do, of course, many internal analytics and define what is high intent for you, because it's different for different companies. After you define it, okay, you do analysis of all your customers and you see, okay, which ones were likely to convert after which conversion actions, after which pages. So you need thorough CRO analysis for that. After you are sure with your funnel that, okay, this is where high intent users are coming from, then it's defined for you, and for that you actually use your product knowledge and you use all the information that you have from your leads to draft high intent content based on that.
Ulduz Ismayilova is SEO manager at Geo Postcodes. Ulduz, thanks so much for adding your additional insight to SEO in 2025.
Thank you.
I've been your host, David Bain, and you've been listening to SEO in 2025 Additional Insights, a Majestic series that complements the original podcast, video series, and book. Find out more at SEOin2025.com.